I'm just going to read you a couple pages from chapter 11, which is about embracing this time. So when I think about the final months I spent with my mom and dad, I recall many talks of the past, uncovered forgotten memories, a feeling of life well accomplished, and the moments of just life in the present. I call this time creating a treasure box of memories. It's all about embracing the time as a caregiver with your loved ones. When you imagine what a treasure box is, you might be filled with anticipation and wonder what might be inside. You might open one and find some real jewels, or you might find some old papers, seemingly not worth keeping. You might sort through your finds and ponder what to do with what you've discovered. Should you share your secrets? Should you hide them? And when the box is empty and it's all gone, nothing is left. At this incredibly valuable time in your loved one's life, they are the treasure box. That is the time to uncover all their treasures. Not only will it be a gift that they will enjoy giving, but one more valuable to you than you maybe have never imagined. It can actually be an incredibly rewarding time to embrace the stories, examine the photographs, listen to the music, enjoy their special foods, revisit memorable places, and sometimes just be still, listening, walking, talking, dancing, singing, reading. They're all part of that process of uncovering the many days of long past, the thoughts of the days and their cares and their fears about the future. I remember one day my mom and I went out to lunch. We were so engrossed in our conversation that the cafe started to begin setting the tables for dinner. When we finally left, hours and hours of triumphs, sadness and joy and tears and wonder filled her treasure box until we could never eat another piece of lemon meringue pie. I will never forget that day ever. Another time, when my father was in an assisted living home, I finally found one of his favorite polka CDs. One of his Italian caregivers, who barely spoke English, came in to find me playing the music at top volume, because my dad always did. It was so loud you couldn't hear a thing. We danced and cried as I saw my dad so full of joy, singing away and recalling his favorite songs of long ago. He knew every word to every song at 87. Just a simple day, but it was filled with the most sincere of emotions. Physically, you can get a box. You can begin to assemble the treasures of their lives while they're alive, not when they're gone. You can add photographs or records or flowers or poems or cards or books to keep a keepsake that you can all talk about with your family together. You can share it with other family members or keep some of the feelings to yourself, but just do it. Have your mom or dad maybe record sayings or songs or messages or keep a journal or record conversations. Have them write down their thoughts and ask them to tell you about each jewel in their box so you better understand their lives as they actually lived. Without a physical box, you can also create the emotional treasure box in your heart. Thoughts of children, pets, playing games, puzzles, walks in a garden, watching old movies, even wearing a piece of clothing might stimulate that excitement. And it'll bring back an array of memories flooding to the surface, providing those activities that will stimulate your loved ones' recollections, like even going to a baseball game or a concert, or to a local church or festival, or even an ethnic restaurant. Now that that box is open, what might you expect? Sometimes feeling of laughter, sadness, joy, tenderness, frustration, maybe even disappointment might occur. The spectrum of emotions from one end to the other is amazing. It is their life story, and they know it's coming to an end. Embrace these moments, seek understanding, gain wisdom, appreciate the gifts you receive and those you are able to give. When you look back at this time, my hope for you is that going forward, you will love and live differently, with new meaning, new understanding, and with gratitude. Your box will then never be empty. Now, I wanted to read it to you because I probably can't say it better than I wrote it the first time, okay? But the bottom line is I did this with my parents. And all I can say is for 86 and a half years, my dad and I were at constant conflict, okay? Or actually, my age isn't 86, but he was 86. We were in constant conflict. I did not understand my father. My dad never really understood me. He told me I was amazing, but then I wasn't amazing. You know, he gave my brother a car. He wouldn't let me get a car. He didn't want him to go to college, but he wanted me to go to college. I mean, it was a constant conflict about everything. But then those last 6 months, my dad really understood who I was. And I really understood who my dad was. I finally, after all my life, spent every single moment with my dad for those last 6 months. And I understood everything about him. And what a gift and what closure, okay, which Dr. Blue is talking about, that I could have that gift with my dad. That when he passed away, I felt good about the time I spent with him. I felt great about the memories. I knew who all the people were in the pictures. I knew what I had in my treasure box in my heart. My brothers and sisters were jealous because they didn't have what I got. I got that. They could have had it. They could have come. They could have stayed with my dad. They chose not to, but I said, I'll step up to the plate. So I got that gift. And I know that my dad had the gift at the end also. And I also know that during that last 6 months of his life, everything that he ever was scared about, that he was worried about, that he ever wanted to talk about, he could talk about with me. And I would listen, and I would acknowledge it, and we would talk about it. And if we had to play Scrabble for 3 hours and have him shaking every time he was trying to put a letter down, we sat and played Scrabble. And we talked about everything we could possibly talk about till we couldn't talk about it anymore. So it's a precious time, and I really hope that you will all take the time to gather those moments, spend the time with those loved ones, or your clients, or your family members, or your family, and make sure that you do keep a historical record of this, because the sad thing is, when they're gone, they're gone. Okay, and now I can tell you this, I had not gone through several boxes of some papers and some photographs that my parents had left, and there are pictures of people, I have no clue who they are. I will never know who they are, and they are amazing. They're from, 1910, 1920. I don't know who these people are. They must be somebody related to me. I'm clueless completely, and I'll never be able to ask you that question ever. So your family members and your clients and your friends, they're all part of the fabric of your life. They have many gifts to give you, and the gift that you can give them at the end of their life is to spend that time quality listening, understanding, and merging your life together, so when they do pass on to another life, then you can all know together that you've accomplished one complete goal, and that there's a peace. That the bottom line is their wishes have been adhered to, and that there's a peace between you and that family member, and that you can go to sleep at night and go, you know what? I really did a great job. I was a great daughter. And you know what? My dad was a great guy.